Alright, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. Starting a little early today because no Ezra Denny stream on Mondays. This experiment, I was going to do it today because we'd have extra time, but it's been kind of a rough day. We had a kid home sick all day, so we'll at least start it, I guess, and see how far we get. But I did want to start with updating PTCS standings since they have come out today. If you were in playoffs, I hope you had a good playoff run, maybe even won a World Series. Let me log into an account here so we can look at the tournament rankings. So this is what I use to track my PTCS rankings. This is week 1, which was last week, or 2 weeks ago, and today we just got the rankings through Sunday. So we're gonna fill this out and see how we're progressing. So to get there, you just go to your all tournaments page. Just go to standings. We'll take a look at the week, because if you're in the top 20 for the week, you get bonus clubhouse stars. And then we'll look at the period, which is the qualification. And if you're in the top 50 for the qualification, at the end of the PTCS period, you get the top 50 get clubhouse stars. So top 20, Andy from Sheffield, who sometimes joins us towards the end of the stream, he's number 15 for the week. Smiley Face Jade at number 16. Star, number 20. They'll all get some bonus clubhouse stars. And I've got 3 teams playing Iron, so we'll see how they do. Are we on the front screen, the top screen? We are not. There's EVC at 20. There's Star at 15. There's Nolan, the Nolan Network at number 28. Smiley Face Chain at 32. And everyone up to, Andy from Sheffield at 49. And everyone up to 50. If they stay in the top 50 till the end of the period, they will get bonus clubhouse stars. And I have not seen any of my teams yet, so we're not in the top 124. I knew I was having a rough PTS number 2, but I did not realize it was this bad. I need to refresh some of my rosters. There's the Studs and Duds TTC at number 120. Yeah, we've lost 53 places since week 1. So that's definitely not good. Barely in qualifying position. 128, the cutoff is 47 points. So the first week was 24 points. So it's about 24 points a week to kind of keep up with the cutoff. Man, I'm going to have to do a search. We're so far down. Okay, the Phonics team is one of them. Oh, 132. That's not too bad. That's recoverable for sure. I think some roster updates and some better RNG, and we could qualify there. And then the other one is the Franchise team. Doc Trod, good to see you in the chat. 165th. Okay, all 3 of these can make it in. I just have to refresh some rosters, I think, and make sure I don't gym unknown anything. So this is recoverable. But it's good because I know where I need to focus my rebuilding efforts. I rebuilt some bronze based on the week 1 standings today, and so I'll do some more of that in iron. All right, speaking of bronze, let's look at bronze for the week. There's Loptap Panda number 7. Holler, who's in our stream sometimes, at number 14. And EVC rounding out the top 20, getting the free bonus Clubhouse stars. Number 20. Let's see if we're on screen number 2. There we are, 74 for Georgia Tech to mine. Wow, we moved up 116 spots. So, big move there. (128th) is 27 points. Oh no, what? 27 is the cutoff for bronze? Wow. That's pretty low. No wonder we were able to move up so fast. Okay, where is Low Diamond Phillips? We're 504th place in week 1. We are even worse now. We are 652nd place. Wow, how is that team so bad? Okay, they need a big time roster rebuild. Nerveki, thank you for the switches for Crouton. He goes right by my chair. He now knows it's streaming time. So here he is. All right, switches have been delivered. So I did rebuild some of these bronze rosters, but I don't know. This is a lot of ground to make up in 2 weeks, but we'll see. Oh no, sorry. These are the weekly standings. No wonder why. I mean, we're still going to be terrible. We're still going to be terrible because we are 637th place, and we have 3 points. So where is the Georgia Tech of my team then? (112th). Okay, but we're still in the top 128. So that's good. (55 points). All right, let's look at let's also see if any of my iron teams are because they do play bronze live. Studs and Duds is 230th. 26 points. Phonics team 157th. That's close. That's close. That might be doable. Hey, Donald, good seeing you. Go ahead and ban this spammer. There we go. Franchise 192nd. Okay, we got a few accounts. I mean, I got to get them in iron first, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. We've got some major roster rebuilding to do in iron. Got a little complacent in iron, I do admit. Alright, let's look at silver for the week. Yeah, Dono, of course. Ask away. 63rd. Oh, wait. Top 20. Top 20 for the week. Cubs St. Steve at number 2. EVC just outside at 21, just outside of the bonus Clubhouse Stars. There's Learn Lily Llamas at 51st place. $44 points. And Franchise Time Machine. 63rd place. I have not downloaded Go yet. I don't have enough room on my phone. And I haven't had time to free up the space. So I was hoping to do that this past weekend. It was a little too busy. Was hoping to do it today, but then we had a kid home sick. But I think whether or not you get those notifications is an option. So it could just be that in this year's version of Go, the default is no notification. So you might just want to look under settings and see if you can turn them on. Oh, again, I just realized I just put in my weekly results. I have to look at the period. So top 50 here, we'll get Clubhouse Stars. Our Franchise Time Machine is 81st place. Still better than last week, so that's good. I was going to do silver next, but based on this, I need to do iron next. As far as roster rebuild, so that was good to see. Alright, the cutoff here is 40 points. Where are the llamas? Oh, 59th place. That's a big improvement. Papa Grave gets eliminated from tournament notifications, but has not been involved in variant bidding yet. Yeah, so I think it is a setting. Let me go back in. Let me make sure I got the right cutoff for bronze for the period. I think I was looking at the weekly. The bronze cutoff is, 49 points. So the cutoff moved a little slower in week 2. All right, let's look at PD Daily. For the week in top 20, get Clubhouse Stars. I don't think anyone from the late night crew. I don't see any in the top 20. There's Schizophrenic Psycho we sometimes see in 29th place. There's D King at 25th place. Alright, let's look for the period then. Let me know if you see one of your teams on here. Alright, this franchise time machine at 81st. Wow, we were 32nd in the first week. We're now 81st. Can't sit still. That's how far you fall. 130 points is 81st place. And then where are the llamas? Hey, there's the Stuffy Town Stuffies. Lisa Loves Biology at 79th place. Well, the llamas were in 307th place, so it might be a tough haul here. 114 is the cutoff. God, the draft daily cutoff moves so fast. Alright, where are the llamas? 266th place. $80 points. Alright, let's look at Draft Weekly. Check the week. I don't see any late night folks in there in the top 20. Let's check the period. Smelly Boy 88, what a name. Amazing. Smelly Boy 88. Not on the first screen. Not in the second screen. Not sure that they're in the 20s. The 220s. Alright, there's the franchise team at 80th. That's up 26 places, so that's good. Last screen, this is the cutoff, 32 points. Wow, I think I only have one team in qualifying position right now. Oh, you found them, Donna? Okay, good. I'm glad. 229th for Low Diamond Phillips. Georgia Tech. $445th. Wow, that's rough. And then Studs and Duds. This team is going to benefit because we just won a 256 weekly today. So we will be definitely up from this 316th. But for now, pretty bad shape. And then Phonics. 233rd. 3 points. And the last thing I have is live. Let's check the week. There's D King at 15th, Schizophrenic Psycho at 10th, Justin Silbs at 17th, that's VIP Dad 420. Rob Deer in the Headlights is at 19. Alright, let's check the period. There's Super Mudman at 44th. That's good enough for bonus Clubhouse stars if they can maintain that till PTCS. Alright, Studs and Duds in 73rd. With 80 points. Hooked on Streeterphonics in 82nd place. Both teams are trending in the wrong direction for sure. Franchise Time Machine in 89th place. $72 points. There's Ezra Denny in 96th place in qualifying position. Franchise in 97th place. I think that's it for the qualifiers. The cutoff is 58 points. There's Music Lessons, the Llamas at 159th. Looking for Low Diamond Phillips and looking for Georgia Tech on my mind. I think we're going to have to search for them. Low Diamond Phillips is in 275th place. And Georgia Tech on my mind. 223rd place. Alright, so here's what it looks like. Let's see compared to week 1. Live looks a lot better. That's the far right column there. We went from 3 qualifiers in week 1 to 4 with 1 just outside. Let's look at the PD dailies. This is week 1. Okay, we lost some ground, so we need to pick it up there. We will have Studs and Duds in qualifying position after this week. having won a 256 team weekly, so that's good. So now we look at iron, bronze, and silver. This is week 1. Yeah, we're losing ground in iron and bronze. Let me check silver for Low Diamond Phillips and Georgia Tech. My mind. I forgot they play silver live. Let me check on that. So Georgia Tech, my mind, is in 163rd. I might have to try to get them in on silver instead. Let's check Low Diamond Phillips. 169th. Man, I might have to shift these teams to silver teams for this next PTCS. That's going to be their best shot to get in. They're nowhere in live, and they're nowhere in bronze. Well, Georgia Tech, on my mind, has a chance in bronze. But I think Low Diamond Phillips, I'm going to switch over to being a silver team this period. I want each team to qualify at least once, so they get the iron and bronze teams, bronze cards, PTCS cards. Nervega, you're 89th in which one? Draft or live? No, I'm 89, so maybe you're talking about a different one. What about... Which one were you 89th in, Note of Anarchy? I was going to pull it up. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Nerveki. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's get a pack giveaway form going for this test. I find it's easier to actually set up the form first, and then that'll kind of tell me how to set up the experiment. So, what's the most recent experiment we did? Stealing versus aggressiveness, right? I think that was the one. So let's copy that one. What is this, episode 654? Groundball versus Flyball pitchers. Let me update the title and I'll put it into the stream. Well, I was doing perfect team standings review just to check where my teams are, but it's going to be a base game experiment. But the base game experiments also have implications on perfect team because they're built on the similar game engine. And we have noticed that like when we note shifts in the game engine from version to version, that it also we see similar shifts in perfect team. Not always exactly the same, but Zeke Grizzly with a 35 stream streak. What is that? A great streak. I think 100 behind Nerd of Anarchy though. Zeke Grizzly didn't get the benefit of all the The streams I had, they got cut up into like 5 streams because my internet kept going out. Oh, Papa Ray said, what is a PTCS? Okay, so PTCS is the Perfect Team Championship Series. And every month or so, the top 128 teams in these different categories. Right, so we went over some of them tonight because I compete in them. But iron, bronze, silver, gold I don't do, diamond, open I don't do, cap I don't do. The top 128 in these categories qualify for this tournament that you have every month or so, and the prizes are special PTCS cards that you can only get by winning them or later buying them in the card shop. All right, so here's the pack giveaway form. I do have to. This is the old form, just with the new title. So we're going to use a completely average league to determine how pitcher, Groundball, and Flyball tendency impact the number of home runs allowed. So here's, first I'm going to explain the complete average league. Put that up here. All right, all the players as close to major league average as possible and identical. The 4 teams. So hold on a second. There are four teams. There are 2 4-team sub leagues that do not have interleague play, so we can have 2 separate experiments going on. One sub league all of the pitchers will have their HRA rating set to. Let me see what I'm going to set that to. First I need to see what league average ended up being. So I'm going to open up the oh, before I do that, let me show you this. First I need to sign up for a perfect draft. Oh yeah, here's also this bad boy, 256 team, Monday getting it started. So that will pretty much guarantee this team will qualify for PTCS number 2. Also got 550 clubhouse stars for that. So real nice. The semifinal pushed us to 7 games, but the finals we won in 5. Stoley 314's Charleston Dirty Birds is who we played. And yeah, so good tournament, good result. No gym unknowns played, so these stats are all legit. Nolan McLean, 9-0, 1.82 ERA. Real nice future legend card here. And the run environment is 1996 with high home run park, which is why I like this Nolan McLean card for that. Right, the stuff and the HRA for the era, the HRA also for the ballpark. And then on the bats, I tried to go high power because of the power ballpark. Didn't actually manage to get a ton of power, but Jake Stahl went yard 17 times. Who else has power in this team? Yeah, not much. Amos Otis with 93 power. Hit 335 with 11 bombs. Juan Gonzalez had 10 bombs, hit 333. I mean, all really good batting average home run totals for not having played a Gym Unknown team. But this is a relatively small ball, low power lineup given the run environment. Alright, so let's go back and start setting up the experiment. Edit this. But yeah, 550 clubhouse stars. Alright, so let's set up a new game. We have an experimental quick start set up. So we'll call this it's experiment in OOTP27 for episode 654, Groundball, Flyball. All right. Flying W most recently played one for community games. I want to revert this back to my manager, who is Japanese because I am Japanese. Commissioner mode cannot be fired. We're not going to take over a team. We're going to be neutral because we want all 8 teams involved in this experiment. Okay, so what is league average HRA that we chose? And to get a better view of this, I'm going to go to the 1 to 100 rating scale. We'll go back to 20 to 80 for the sim because I know most people are more familiar with that, but the 1 to 100 gives us a lot more detail. Especially it doesn't truncate the ends, and it's not in 5-point buckets. So it gives us a lot more, I think, fidelity when we're setting up the ratings in Editor. Okay, league average home run allowed is 420, which is also the date today. Did everyone celebrate 420 today? I live in Portland, so it's like every day. But all right, so league average MLB. Let me put this back up. 2025 MLB league average. I grew up in New Jersey and then eventually moved out here, so that's why I'm a Mets fan. And I landed in Seattle first, so I picked up the Mariners as my AL team. So both teams not doing too well to start the season so far. Mets terrible, in fact. MLB league average HRA is 420. And then league average ground ball percentage is 54%. All right. So in one sub league, we're gonna do this experiment 2 times. One with high HRA pitchers, one with low HRA pitchers. And we're going to change the ground ball percentage, but we're going to keep the HRA the same. So we're going to have to play with some other ratings to keep that HRA rating the same. Yeah, well, I was in Seattle when I added the Mariners, and it's because the city I'm in is where I'm going to be going to baseball games. So I got to see a lot of Mariners games and no Mets games. So all right, so in one sibly, all the pitchers will have their HRA set to. If it's already 450, that's higher than I thought it was going to be. All right, we'll go plus 80, minus 80. So we'll go to 500. So 340. Within each subleague, each team, the pitchers on each team will all have the same ground ball percentage. And those will be, let's do 4% increments. I don't want to get too crazy because I want to make sure I can still manage the ratings. So we'll go 46%. We'll go 4-point increments. 50%. We're going to skip average and we'll go 58% and 62%. Let's see if that's even possible. Can I keep this at 420? Let me screenshot this so I don't mess anything up here. All right, if this is 62%, can I get this HRA back down to, wait, when this was 54, oh, we're actually a little below. We're at 415. Huh. So let me edit that in the form. Well, no, we can set it to whatever we want. So we're going to set it to, can we, the question I have is, can we get down to 340 if this is 62%? So if this is 62, can I get this down to 415? I should be able to. Yeah, it'll be easy. In fact, I think we can maybe even get a little more extreme here. What if we do 5-point increments? So if we go to 64, yeah. What's 64%? Does that get us to? It does get us to extreme ground ball. What does 59%? Is that just ground ball? It is ground ball. Okay, so we're gonna do a 59.64. Now let me return this guy to where he was before. He should have been 54, 415. Okay, so he's returned back to normal. All right, so we're going to be able to go in 5-point increments. So we're going to go 44%, 49%, 59%, and 64%. And have their raw movement rating adjusted until their HRA returns to, we have it set to 415. So league average 415. The grounder percentage is 54%. Okay, so no, sorry. So it returns to 340 or 500. Okay, so in the 500 HRA subleague, there'll be a 44% ground ball team. All the pitchers have 44% ground ball rating. I'm going to tweak the raw movement rating until it returns to 500. Same for 49, 59, 64. I'm saying that now because I don't know what those ratings need to be until I do all that stuff. So in the interest of getting the format in time, I'm just going to word it this way. Let's see. This one can go. This one can go. Those can all go. Okay, for questions asked for season totals, please normalize your answers for a 162 game season instead of the 810 game season being simulated. All right, we're doing an extra long season, but the stats, because we're all used to thinking in terms of 162 game season, give me the answers in a 162 game season. All right, if you think someone's giving up 40 home runs, don't guess 200, guess 40. Okay, everything else is going to be the same as normal. Now, what are the questions we're going to use? In the low HRA, well, let's go in the order I listed them. Extreme Flyball, Flyball, Groundball, or Extreme Groundball. And unless that's the same for which team is going to give up the most. And what will be the percentage difference between the most and fewest. That's the formula I'm going to use. And we'll say 0 to 5%. Or less than 5%. 5 to 10%. To 15%, or greater than 15%. If it's 15.000 exactly, I know this is ambiguous. I'll give points to both. I've already said what I'm changing to Ricky. I'm only changing these ratings. I'm changing nothing else. If it's not in the form, it's not getting changed. All right, then we're going to ask the same exact question for the high HRA league. This is low HRA rating, not the wording can be ambiguous here. So low HRA rating. Because low HRA makes it sound like they're going to give up fewer home runs. It's actually the low HRA rating team. I mean, you can look at it when we go through the edits, but I'm not changing anything on the pitcher selections, the pitch selection. So you'll see the ratings when we're editing them, but I'm not changing them at all. I only change things that are specified in the form. All right, so let's copy this one and move this down. So this is in the high HRA rating league. Those are the HRAs for 500. Oh, you know what? I did this based on 420 instead of 415. So let's go. Okay, so 500 is 85 more. So if we go down 85, it's down to 330. Right, did I do my math right? 330 plus 85 is 415, yeah. So it's going to be 330. The one thing about the experiments is kind of annoying is it's a custom form every time. If someone runs a PS5 server game, he has a 420 mod on it. Does the sinker... I mean, it's not like that sounds like a different experiment though, Note of Anarchy. It's like, does the sinker matter? Alright, so 330, everything else stays the same. This is now 500, everything stays the same. And the easiest thing to do here is just, we're going to switch this to say, give the most. Right, so then is that parallel to the previous? Yes, it is. And then we have to copy this one and drag this one down. So this is in the high HRA rating league. This is HRA equals 500. Ooh, not 5,000, 500. All right, so this is really a matter of like, will it be statistically significant? How big will this swing be? And then we'll delete this. Delete this. All right, let me look up real quickly. What was Major League average home runs allowed in 2025? So in BREF, I'm just looking up 25 in MLB. I'm doing this off screen. Home runs allowed. League average is 188 home runs are allowed. What will be the league-wide 162 game average home runs allowed? 2025 actual equals 188. And I'll ask the same question for the high HRA2 league. Okay, and then in the what will be the most home runs allowed by a single pitcher regular season? And then we'll ask the same for the low, and I'll put that in the right order. Low is going to come first like it has been. I actually think that's enough numerical questions that we shouldn't have a tie at the end. I think I'm going to hold off on putting out the form though, because what's happened before is I'll run into issues setting up the experiment, and then I'm like, oh, well, I can't change the form because I already published it. So I'm going to hold off on publishing it. But yeah, then I'm introducing an additional variable, which the whole point of this is to minimize the number of variables. That's the whole reason the league is all average and identical. So right now I'm leaving HRA's constant and only changing ground ball percentage. I don't want to tinker with other pitches, because the whole point I'm trying to make here is to show whether ground ball or fly ball tendency matters if the HRA is held the same. If I then tinker with pitches, then people will say, oh, but that's because you changed the pitches, not because you changed the ground ball percentage. But yeah, the other way I could potentially do it is by adding sinkers and playing with the rating of the sinker. But instead, I specified that I'm changing the raw movement rating. They do matter, but that's not the point of this experiment. So the whole point, the whole scientific method is around leaving things constant and just changing one variable at a time. If I did that, I'd be tinkering with two variables at a time. Now, I don't think the results would be very different, but it would undermine the kind of the hypothesis testing we're doing. All right, so let's go and set up the league here. I find that changing the names helps me keep track of what I'm doing in the experiment. Okay, so let's set up the leagues first. All right, sub-league name will be... Oh wait, where did I change that here, or did I change it here last time? I think I changed it in both places. So sub-league 1 name, this will be low HRA rating. So HR 300. And then this will be high HRA rating. This will be HR 500. Oh, this is HR 330, sorry. No, I'm not changing HRA directly. I'm changing raw movement directly. Did I put it wrong in the form? I thought I said raw movement. Yeah, it says raw movement in the form. It's correct. HRA rating. Okay, so now when we go here, the new league structure is reflected. And here are the teams. This will be Extreme Groundball, Extreme Groundball, or we'll call this, Extreme Groundball 64. No. Yeah, 64. This will be Groundball 59. Oh, you know what? I wonder if we should have... I'm going to put the 3 for 330. Just in case, because we'll end up with 2 XGB teams. So these will all be 3 XGB, 3 GB, 3 GB. No, nerve-wracking. It's good to ask the questions because I may have made a mistake. So it's good that you're asking the question because it forces me to make sure I did it correctly. So don't not ask the questions. Flyball, 49%. So this is the 330 HRA Flyball. 3 XFB, Extreme Flyball 44. 3 XFB. Okay, so this is the 5 XGB. It's messing me up that the F key is so close to the G key. I should add the 3 here too. This is 330. 330. 330. I wonder if because it is April 20th, if the pack giveaway answers will be much worse than normal. The guesses will be way off because it's 500. 5 XGB. 5 GB. 500 Groundball 59. 5 GB. 5 FB. 500 FB 49. 5 FB. And then 5 XFB. 500 Extreme Flyball 44. 5 XFB. Now all the abbreviations are unique, so that's kind of what I was going for with that. Okay, so now let's make the adjustments. The first team up, 330 Flyball 49. No, like I said, I asked the questions because sometimes they uncover a mistake I made. So you definitely should ask the question. More scriptures for Crouton. He is right here. What's up, buddy? Nerd of Anarchy scriptures. Yeah. Alright, scriptures have been delivered. Woke him up. Now his hair is all messed up. He looks funny. Okay, so this team, this is where the name helps me out a lot. Okay, the Flyball rating is going to be set to 49. Or sorry, the Groundball rating is set to 49 for all these guys. 49. And these are the pitches and the ratings. These are going to stay the same. And then we're going to change the raw movement until the HRA comes back to 415. $431. So the formula for 330.49 is raw movement is 431. So 49, 431. Oh, I think, hold on a second. Okay, I had all these set so that the VR was 420 or close to 420 because all the batters are right-handed. But I'm fine with the way it is right now. We'll just keep going this way. But now that I remember, because all the batters are right-handed, that's what... Alright, so this guy gets 49... and 431. 49 and 431. Oh, no, wait. The HRA is supposed to be 330. So I have to take this way down. $353. 49 and 353 is the formula. All right, I think it's going to be quicker if I just change all these to 49 first. And then I change the other last. So really what this experiment boils down to is, do you believe the home run rating or do you believe the ground ball rating? And then this becomes 353. Oops. So this is interesting that happens. We changed it to 353 before. It's changed itself to 352 for some reason. And the best we can do is we're just going to go through it one time. If it changes itself later, like we're going to arrow back down, they're back to 352, I'm going to leave it. The game just does that sometimes, and I don't know why. All right, so we'll go to the next team down. This is a 330-59 ground ball percentage. So this is a ground ball pitcher team. Oh, hold on. Let's go back to that first team for a second. So the HR rate is lower, but they're all the same. And so all the teams in that league should have a 40 HR rating. Oh, that's interesting, though. The ground ball is still neutral. Is 49 not low enough? What do I have to change it to for that to go to GB? Oh, also, I realized since we're using editor ratings, we don't need the 1 to 100. So I'm going to go back to 20 to 80 because that's what we usually use. But why is this still neutral? What if I take this to 48? Right now he's Flyball. So let's change the form then. Oh, I have to change all the questions now too. That sucks. That sucks. So if we're going to go in 6-point increments, it's 48, 42, 60, and 66. But before I do all that, let's make sure that actually works. So if I change this to 42, does that make it extreme ground ball? Extreme flyball, it does. And if I change this to 60, ground ball, and if I change this to 66, extreme ground ball. Okay, so that's going to work. So 42, 48, 60, 66. So the annoying thing is now I have to change this in all the questions. 42, 48, 60, and 66. And I don't think there's any easy way to just like copy just the answers. So I have to go change this in every one, which is kind of annoying. But again, this is why I decided not to post the form early. 42. Speaking of 420, I watched The Breakfast Club again today. This is 42, 48, 60, and 66. Okay, so now I do have to change that first team again, because it's, oh, I have to change the team names too. Annoying. This is now 48. This is now 60. This is now 42. And this is now 66. Oops. This is now 48. This is now 60. This is now 42. And this is now 66. Okay, so now gotta go fix this first team, because I used 49 instead of 48. And I have to try to get this to 330. $356. I'll do all the 48 changes first. Okay, and then we'll do 356. All right, so if we look at the profile, he is a fly ball pitcher now. And if we look at the pitching staff, they'll have a 40 HRA rating. They're all now fly ball pitchers. Okay, so now this team, we set their ground out percentage to 60, but we have to bring their HRA down to 330. So let's set these to 60 first. And hopefully this is just ground ball, not extreme ground ball. It is ground ball. Good. And if I change it to 66, it is extreme ground ball. Perfect. So this team is all 60, so we're going to change all these to 60. All right, and then raw movement. Again, we're trying to get this to 330. .304 is the winning formula. So we'll change all these guys to 304. Okay, so let's look at the entire staff. HRAs are all 40, which is what we want, and everyone is a ground ball pitcher. Compare that to the flyball team. Everyone's 40, but everyone's flyball. Perfect. All right, the next team on the list is extreme flyball. And 330 HRA. All right, so let's set everyone to 42 ground out percentage first. That'll give everyone the extreme ground ball, or sorry, extreme fly ball tag. Okay. And what does this need to be set to get to 330? .382, between 382 and 383. Okay. So let's see what this team's staff looks like. 40 ratings, all extreme fly ball. Perfect. All right, last of the 330 teams. This is 330 with the ground out percentage set to 66. Everybody says 100 is all hits and outs. If a pitcher has both ground ball and fly ball, then the 40 to 60 equals 100 is neutral. I'm not following this at all. 100% is all hits and outs. If a pitcher has both ground ball and fly ball, but the pitcher doesn't have both. They have a ground out rating that translates into being either a ground ball pitcher or a fly ball pitcher. So I'm not sure I understand what the both ground ball and fly ball in the 40 to 60 means. So maybe if you ask in a different way, I'm not following your question, Nerd of Anarchy. All right, we're gonna set all these to 66 first. First, let me make sure this does result in extreme ground ball. Perfect. So we're gonna set all these guys to 66 ground out percentage. So they're all extreme ground ball pitchers. Okay, and then we need to set this to 330. So I just have an interesting follow-up experiment to do on this. We use the same quick start once we set this up, but then we try it in a low home run ballpark or a high home run ballpark. Because I'm wondering if the fly ball percentage does matter if the fences are moved in. Because the HRA, presumably based on a neutral ballpark, but if the fences are moved in, it should have less impact on the ground ball pitcher, but more impact on the fly ball pitcher. So that'll be an interesting secondary experiment we can do using this same setup. But 282 is the number we're going to use here. Percentage of their outs or hits given up. Yeah, but no one's saying that a ground ball pitcher never gives up the fly ball. The ground out percentage is 54%, so that's 46% fly balls. So I think maybe there's a faulty assumption under your question, because ground ball, even extreme ground ball, does not mean no fly balls. Like extreme ground ball is 66%, so that's still 34% fly balls. Gumo D block. We're setting up an experiment here. So did I do all the 66s? I did. Okay, so 282 is the number we're going to use. 282. 282. Or are you, or Nervik, are you trying to define a new rating? Because the ground out percentage is far from 100%. So the league average is 54%. Unless I'm misunderstanding your question. Okay, so in this team, the ground out percentage is 66% and the raw movement is 282. That still gives us 40 HRA rating. Right, so everyone's still got a 40 HRA rating, but now they're all extreme ground ball pitchers. All right, so now if we go down one more, now we're in the 500 teams. Okay, so this team has their ground ball percentage set to 48%. So yeah, so extreme ground ball is still only 66% ground balls. It's not 100%. Okay, so now what do I need to set this to be 550? 561. Oh, no, no, it's not 550, it's 500. Duh. 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 $5.16. $48, $5.16. So change all these to 5.16. Crouton is very noisy over there. Knocking around stuff, growling over there. Alright, so this team, now what is their HRA? So the other team was all 40s. This team is all 70s. That's interesting. We took each team down or up 85 points. But taking it down 85 points only took them down to a 40. Taking them up 85 points took them all the way up to a 70. So the HRA reduction is not symmetrical with the HRA boost. It's a 40 to 70 swing. It's not, even though in the ratings it's equidistant, in the editor it's equidistant, in the scouting rating it is not equidistant. So just keep that in mind. But these are flyball pitchers because of the 48 ground ball percentage. Okay, let's go to the second 500 team. This is a 60 ground ball percentage. So let's do all these 60 edits first. Okay, now what do I need to make this 500? $489. Yep, $489. All right. So let's look at this team's ratings. Again, they are 70 HRA, but they're all ground ball pitchers this time. Okay, let's go to the third team. We're almost done with the setup. This is a 42 ground out percentage team. So let's take care of that edit first. And we have to get this all the way up to 500. $533. 533, 533, 533, 533, 533, 533, 533, 533, 533. All right, so that one's all set. Let's take a look at their ratings. All 70s, all extreme fly ball. Perfect. All right, let's get ready to set up the last team, and I'll get caught up on Chad here. Okay. If the hits given up in the outs recorded by a pitcher, there is a percentage. But the more those deviate from each other, but I don't understand what the deviation. What is 0 to 20 is neutral? A ground ball pitcher will have a split of 63% hits and outs by ground ball. So I don't understand the first part, but this last part is correct. And that's how the game works, right? Like, so this team, 66% ground ball. 66% of their outs are coming from ground balls. 34% of their outs are coming from fly balls. So I don't understand how this is different from what's in your last sentence. I don't know what range the game is using to define extreme or versus regular ground ball, but it's also based on ground outs, not hits. I guess I'm confused because when I read this paragraph, I don't understand the first part, but the last part is correct. It's defining the ground out percentage and how it translates to ground ball, fly ball, or extreme fly ball, or extreme ground ball. So I agree with the last sentence that's how the game works. I still am not following the first part. Are you trying to assign like an absolute value to it? Extreme ground ball / fly ball? And is it important to the experiment? Is the other thing. Okay, so all these guys get 66 ground ball percentage. Papa Brave. So yeah, Nerdavang is right. You can get up to 5 affiliate packs per day. And the mothership pack bundles are by week. You can get up to 7 bundles per week. And the laptop hound bundles are by week. You can get up to 4 laptop hound bundles by week. But the affiliates are capped at 5 packs per day. Kenny L. Berg, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. We're doing an experiment today. In Out of the Park Baseball, pitchers have ground ball or fly ball tendency listed. So it's either neutral, ground ball, extreme ground ball, or fly ball, extreme fly ball. And what I've seen people do when they're choosing players is they'll look at 2 players with the same home run suppression rating, but take the one with the ground ball or extreme ground ball rating over the one with the fly ball or extreme fly ball rating. So that home run suppression rating is supposed to have already baked into it the ground ball or fly ball tendency. And so we're testing today to see if your home run suppression rating is the same. Does it matter if you're an extreme ground ball or extreme fly ball pitcher? But I hope you had a good stream. If you want to put in chat what you were streaming today, it'd be great to hear about that. No, I'm not testing at all, Nereki, at what the breakpoint is. The only testing I did is what you saw on screen, which is I wanted to make sure that the ground out percentages I was choosing were enough to take us to ground ball, extreme ground ball, fly ball, and extreme fly ball ratings, because those are the ratings people tend to use to justify their choices. MLB The Show with franchise action. Awesome. How did it go? Hope you had a good stream. Hope your team won. Unless you're trying to lose. We try to lose sometimes when we play low ball. We sometimes play low ball in this stream. In which case you try to lose. Okay, so with a 66 rating, we have to get this up to 500. So what is that going to take? 450? No, not enough. 470? Ooh, almost. 473? Almost. 477? 479? 479. $479 is the magic number. Let me make note of that. So for 500 with 66 ground out percentage, we need 479 raw movement. Oh wait, I didn't finish editing all these. Did I? 66. These have to be changed first to 66s. Okay, so now we know this number is 479. All right, all the teams are set up now. Let's take a quick look to make sure the ratings look right. Okay, why is this team a 75? All the other teams were 70. So what did I do wrong here? It should be HRA is 500. All the other teams were 500. What happens if I go to 478? Does that matter? No. Why is this team only? All the teams have 500 HRA, right? $500 HRA. But this team's HRA is 70. Kenny Elberg says we did include a Pirates 3-run rally to get to extras. Finish off at 2-0 on the night. Nice. Ebuck says that's how I know it. Tendencies only tell you where the outs come from, so where you need to put the defense emphasis. Yeah, but the HRA is still 500. Oh, you're saying the scouting rating? It's influencing the scouting rating? But the pitcher's home run rating is still 500. And scouting is supposed to be 100% accurate. All right, well, we know from editor that it's the same. So we're going to go with it, even though it's showing up different here. Because if I look at editor, there's no difference. It's all 500. How low do I have to go till it goes back down to, like at 493? It's 70. 496. It's 70. $498. It's 70. $499. It's 75. So we're at like 2 points away from the cutoff. So that's a problem. It's weird though, because you would think the bucket would be the same. Like it's 500. All the others are 500. I don't know why one 500 would be 75. What happens if we do the let's do the 100 scale. $32, $33, $31, $33, $86, $87, $88, $89. Well, why is this some 89 and some 80? Well, this first one is because I just tinkered with it. So now they're all 89. Except, wait, why is this one? Oh, this is that thing where you go away from it and come back, it will have shifted. 479 is the formula. I don't know why this is reading 499. Yeah, it's weird. The relievers are registering as 88. Okay, I think it's just a quirk of the ratings bucket. Yeah, they have different split, but the overall, this is the overall HR rating. It should be the same. Because the overall already factors in. I understand what you're saying, Smiley Face Jane. It makes sense. But the overall factors in the split, right? That's why it's not evenly between 491 and 510. But I don't understand why on one team it's a 500. They're all going to be better VR because they all have the same split. Because they all have the same pitching arsenal. That does explain the relief pitcher, though. That does explain. So what Smiley Face Jane is saying does explain why we see a difference when we go to the relief pitchers, because the relief pitchers have different pitch selection. So that's why I think here it's going down to 40 up to 88, because the split rating goes from 1.117 to 1.073. So that explains why there's a difference in the starting pitchers and the relief pitchers. So that's definitely caused by the different number of the different pitches. But I think the 70-75 jump is just that it happens to straddle the cutoff for 70-75. I don't think there's a meaningful difference because they're all still 500 overall. This does go back to what I said at the beginning of the editing, which is I should have set the form up to say 500 versus right-handers. You know what? I think I'm going to have to do that because I don't want to have to deal with this issue. Oh, yeah, no, it's 550. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The switch from starters to relievers is from that. Because you can tell from the splittiness. The 1.073 to the 1.117. That difference is probably causing that. Oh no, I'm kind of torn. Like the OCD part of my brain wants to say, let's shift everything to VR rating because there's only right-handed batters, and then we don't have to have one team have 75 HRA. But then the lazy part of me doesn't want to edit the form and make all those changes again. All right, let's see how hard it would be to change the form. And then I have to change the players again, too, which is kind of annoying. Okay, we're going to say they're VR HRA. Because there are only right-handed batters in this league. Okay, what happens if I do that? All the formulas I just came up with are going to change, so I'm going to have to re-edit all the pitchers. But it might get rid of this issue. So now we're looking for this 510 to be 500. Okay, so 470. And to Smiley Face James' point, I may have to have a different formula for relief pitchers and starting pitchers. But let me see what that does to this pitcher. Does that give him... let's go back to the 20 to 80. It does give him a 70, which is that puts him in line with all the other pitchers. All right, so 470 for the relief pitchers. Now for the starting pitchers, it's going to be... Yeah, you can already see the difference is different because 506 is the starting point. So it's 474 and 470. $474 for the starting pitchers, $470 for the relief pitchers. And that's not unprecedented. We have done that we have had slightly different ratings for starters and relief pitchers. 474, 474. So now what happens when we look at this team's pitching staff? They're all 70s, they're all extreme ground ball, including the relief pitchers. Okay, good. So now let's go back and re-edit this team. This is ground ball percentage 42. And we're going to get this 506 to equal 500. Oops. 529 is the number for starters. Okay, now for relief pitchers. $527. You know, it looks like at the low end of the ground out percentage, the adjustment for relief pitchers is a lot smaller. It's 2 points versus 4 points. That's probably why it was not noticeable before. Oh, thank you, Smiley Face Chain. 527. So yeah, now the difference between starters and relievers is just 2 points. But for that 66 ground ball percentage team was 4 points. Okay, so now let's go back and adjust the ground ball 60 team. To make the VR. So this is 508. So 484 is the target here for starters. And for relievers, $481. Yeah, so the difference between starters and relievers tends to scale with the ground out percentage. Because this is a 3-point difference. Okay. And yeah, it's all 70s and all ground balls. So that's still working. Did this one look alright too? Yeah, the HRA versus lefties shifted, but there are no lefties in the league, so that doesn't matter. So we're okay with that. Alright, so this is ground ball 48. So 512 for starting pitchers. It's a bit of a hassle, but it's better than having one team have 75 ratings than it looks like there's a difference, even though the editor rating is the same. Oh, sorry, we're into relief pitchers now. The relief pitchers need to edit. Because this is 501. So 511. So yeah, it's just a 1 point difference at 48. All right, and then let's go to... Oh, wait, let's look at the pitching staff and see if it looks right. Yep, everything looks good. Again, we have that 65 issue with the relief pitchers, but that's against VL only, which there are no lefties, so I'm okay with that. All right, this is a 330 with 66 ground ball percentage. And it's 335 versus righties. So 277 for starting pitchers. And then for relief pitchers, $273. So 4 point difference. Yeah, so the difference is much bigger at the higher ground out percentages. It goes 2, 3, then 4. Okay. All 40s. Yep, looks good. So 42. For starting pitchers. Between 377 and 378. I guess we'll go 378. Okay, then for relief pitchers, between 373 and 374. We'll go 374. Okay, now the overall has shifted, though, which I don't like. The overall for the relief pitchers has shifted. I even took the higher end, right? 373 took it to 329. 374 took it to 331. I'd have to take it all the way up to 333 to make that change go away. So now by fixing one problem, getting rid of the 75s on the other end, now I have a problem here on this end. That sucks. Let's see what happens if I do the... Well, we have 2 more to do. Jeez. I should have just left it. What a bummer. Alright, let's see what happens if I do this one. Dang it. I mean, I know the overall doesn't matter because there's only right-handers in the league. But it just doesn't... I don't think it looks good if it looks like the ratings are different, even though like the VR is all that matters. And the VR is all the same. Okay, let's see. We got to take this down. Oh, shoot. 301. Yeah, 301 is the formula here for starters. Okay, then for relievers, $298. But what does $298 do? Okay, it's still 40. Yeah, that one was fine. Again, the VL came down a little bit, but the overall stayed the same. $352 for starters. And then for relievers, $349. Yeah, so the only problem is this one team looks funky. But we know we should only be looking here. In fact, I'm kind of tempted for this experimentally to take out all the overall and VL ratings because VR is all that matters because there's only right-handers in the league. So if you only look at that, then it looks fine. Because it is fine. This is actually correct. Alright, I'm going to go with what's actually correct. Alright, so the pack giveaway form is now also correct. So I'm going to save that. It's all also worded correctly now too, because it talks about the VR HR rating. Alright, so link to form. Good luck, everybody. So yeah, in my attempt to preempt any nitpicking on the high end of the shift to 75, I now created an opportunity for nitpicking on the low end. But again, VR is all that matters. So if you look over here, I think they all look right. Right, I'm going to cycle through them. Again, HR is all that matters. Or not HR, VR. There's only right-handed batters and only right-handed pitchers. So then it goes to 70, 70, 70. Oh my god, why is this back to 75? Should be 500, it is 500. I don't know, I'm not going to redo it. Now it looks wrong on the low and high ends, but we know it's right. We know it's 500 under the hood. And the RPs are all. So in some ways, it actually improved the setup because now the relief pictures and starting pictures are all dead on 500 VR. And VR is what matters. But for some reason, the display rating is off. The display rating is higher. Yeah, that's weird. All the others are dead on 500 as well, but their display rating is 70. Alright, well, it is what it is. We'll save this. We'll save this as a quick start as well. And then we'll set up the 5X season and save that as a quick start. Sub-league. Teams have all 42%, 46%, 60%, or 66% ground out percentage pitchers. I doubled up on, oh, okay, thank you for catching that. I doubled up on the low. All right, everyone stop filling out the form. Actually, let me close the form. Okay, so low HRA, league-wide homers allowed, high HRA, league-wide homers allowed. Low HRA, hold on, I'm not. Which question is? I was looking at the end, but low HRA. Hold on, let me put this in the chat. So I'm not sure which one. I just checked the ones at the end, but maybe you meant up here. Okay, low HRA, team giving up the fewest home runs. Low HRA, team giving up the most home runs, and then the percentage difference. High HRA, fewest home runs, high HRA, most home runs. Percentage difference. Low HRA, league-wide, home runs allowed. High HRA, league-wide, home runs allowed. Low HRA, single pitcher. Out of the top two? Low HRA, fewest home runs allowed. Low HRA, most home runs allowed. And then high HRA, fewest home runs allowed. High HRA, most home runs allowed. No, I think that's correct. This is correct. The first three questions are all for the low HRA league. Fewest home runs, most home runs, the difference, percentage difference between the two. Then the next ones are split, or for the high home run rating league, fewest home runs, most home runs, percentage difference. Because I didn't want to go bounce back and forth between leagues and bounce back and forth for percentage difference. And then the next two are the same question, low HRA, high HRA. The next two are the same question, low HRA, high HRA. So I think it's correct. But thanks for checking. So I can reopen the form now. It is good to go. But definitely worth checking, so thanks for that. Thank you for checking Z Grizzly. So I think this is good to save. I think this description is correct. And then what I'll do is then we'll create the 5-season schedule. So for game settings, league settings, options, we'll set this to 810 games. And then we'll go ahead and regenerate the schedule. And we'll save the quick start of this. Time 5. Okay, so that's ready to go. All right, so let's see. Where are we on ad break? Okay, I'm going to push 3 minutes of ads. This will be your 3-minute warning on the pack giveaway. I need to refill my water and stuff, and then we'll take a look at the guesses. All right, looks like we're back from ad break. You know, I was thinking about what Z Grizzly said, and I think he's right. I think it would, especially because it's not Survivor style anymore. It's just a point system. I probably should have just done all of these questions for one league, and then done all the same questions again for the other league. Right? Because the main thing is for this first three, I wanted to keep the fewest, most, and then percentage difference together. But then if I'm going to do that, I think Seeger was right. Like I changed the way I split them, which I probably shouldn't have done. So then I should have done again for done all the low HRA questions, then gone to league wide average per team, right? And then gone to the individual. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully that doesn't trip anybody up. But now that we're not doing survivor style for these experiments, so how would that be for you if I did all the low HRA questions first, and then switched and did all the high HRA questions? Would that be less confusing, or should it be like each question goes low high low high low high? Because it used to be I tried to keep like the questions that have the same kind of overarching scope together and go from the broadest questions to the most narrow questions because we were doing survivor style, but we're not doing that anymore. Yeah, the reason, yeah, I did do them all separated except for the first three, because the first three are asking fewest, most, and then percentage difference. So I thought it would make more sense as fewest, most, percentage difference for one, and then fewest, most, percentage difference for the other. But then once that was done, then I went to low, high, low, high. So I can see how that's confusing. So maybe next time I'll just do all the one league questions first, and then all the other league questions next. That might take out the potential confusion. Because what I don't want to have happen is someone wins or loses a pack giveaway based on like the the way I set up or the way I arranged the questions was confusing. That would be a bummer. All right, is anyone still working on this that hasn't submitted yet? You have a little bit of time. I'm going to set up the spreadsheet version uh, right now. I'm doing that off screen. So you do have some more time. If you are, just let me know so I don't close the form on you. Okay, Clint. Yeah, no rush. Thanks for letting me know. I don't want to shut you out. If anyone else is the same boat as Clay Dog, please let me know. Because otherwise, as soon as his entry comes in, I'm going to close the form. Okay, then we'll take a look at the guesses. Then we'll take a look at the HRA projections. Then we'll run it. And then we'll marvel at how confusing or unexpected the results are. I still don't think I've heard back from the speed. Actually, I'm going to check on that. What Clay Dog does is. I reported the speed controlling the stolen base attempts as a bug. Let's see if I got a response. Nope. Exoforest did reply with some tournament data that there does seem to be more of a correlation between speed and stolen base attempts than aggressiveness in stolen base attempts. But no word from any of the OOTP developers. Which is fine. Maybe we know something we can use that other people don't know. Again, this is a base game result, though. I don't know that it carries over to Perfect Team. If it does, though, I would definitely not take players with high speed ratings with low stolen base ratings, because otherwise the game's going to send them to steal and they're going to suck at it. All right, Claydog's in, so I'm going to close the forum because I haven't heard from anybody else asking to leave the forum open. All right, here are the guesses. I'll show the aggregated version. Okay, in the low HRA league, most people think that the extreme ground ball team will give up fewer home runs. And the extreme flyball team will give up the most home runs. And that the difference will be, most of you think the difference will be below 10%. Either below 5% or 5 to 10%. Oh, no, sorry. There's actually it's a small majority think it'll be below 10%. 2 of you or 40% of you think that the difference will be 10 to 15%, which I would consider statistically significant, which is interesting. Okay, in the high home run suppression league, most of you think the extreme ground ball team will give up the fewest home runs, and the high extreme fly ball team will give up the most home runs. And here, people think the difference is either very low or very high. 2 think below 5%, 3 think above 15%. Okay, that's really interesting. All right, we'll see what happens. That is a really interesting set of guesses there. All right, so this is saved as a quick start. It is also saved. So now we can go to opening day. The preseason predictions are being generated. Oh, I forgot to update the mailbox. And the manager options. So let's clear out the mailbox to start with. And let's go to MLB reports and info preseason predictions. Okay, the ERA seem to go, well, these are not in order because it goes 42, 66, 48, 60. So they're out of order. So the team projections are based are happen to fall in the ERA order, but the ERAs are not in ground ball percentage order. And in the high HRA league, again, it goes extreme. Is it the same order? No. Extreme ground ball, then extreme fly ball, then ground ball. For some reason, the fly ball team is expected to do a lot worse. Again, this is why we don't use wins and losses anymore. Kind of learned my lesson. We'll go ahead and screenshot this. And also send this to the browser. Okay. So let's run some years, calendar years. Yeah, we do a 5x season to try to power through some of the RNG issues that might crop up. Presumably, the bigger the sample size, the less impact RNG anomaly should have. Well, at least in the low HRA league, the team records are kind of in a order of their ground out percentage. But there's a big gap between the first place team and the second, third, and fourth place teams. In the high HRA league, everyone's kind of crammed together. There's no gap. Secretly redeeming more switches for Crucial. Thank you, Secretly. Right, they have been delivered. All right, let's run another year. Again, the dynamic is completely different. In the low HRA league, the Extreme Flyball team is in first place, way ahead of all the other teams. In the high HRA rating league, everyone's basically crammed together. There's only 5 games separating all 4 teams. It is interesting that the dynamic is so different. But again, that is wins and losses, and there's a reason we don't use those anymore. Okay, we'll do another year. Whatever is going on in the low HRA league, it is befuddling me. I'm trying to think of an explanation for it, and it's not coming to me. It's weird though that gap is persisting in the low HRA league. It's Extreme Fly Ball, and then everyone else is now over 45 games behind. All right, let's go to the end of the regular season. But look at this. In the high HRA league, it's almost like it doesn't matter what your ground out percentage is. But in the low HRA league, it seems like you're better off having a high fly ball percentage. Which would be a wild finding. Like, I mean, we'll have to see what the home run numbers look like, but all right, we're almost to the end of the sim. It's June. The end of the season, I think, is in July. Oh no, when is it? Oh, it's August. Okay. So you have one more game till the end of the season. Oh, we had a pitching triple crown. This guy from the Extreme Flyball team. All right, let's go to the postseason. Let's finish off the season. It is Groundball versus Extreme Flyball in the 330 league. And it's Extreme Flyball versus Groundball. Extreme Flyball made it to the playoffs in both leagues. Wow. It's Extreme Flyball versus Groundball. And Extreme Flyball wins it. Alright, so let's go look at some stats. Well, let's save this first. Alright. Extreme Flyball actually gave up the fewest home runs in the 330 HRA league. And Extreme Groundball gave up the most home runs in the 500th league. Why is everything backwards from what you would expect? Well, although what I would expect is that the ground ball percentage is already baked into the HRA rating. So I never think it makes sense when someone looks at the same pitchers with the same HRA rating and like, oh, I can't take this guy. He's the fly ball pitcher. I'm going to take the ground ball pitcher. Or they'll take a pitcher with a slightly worse HRA rating because they're a ground ball pitcher, and they'll pass on the better HRA rating because they're a fly ball pitcher. Maybe I shouldn't have run it on 420. That is a very good point. So the extreme foul percent team did have the lowest ground out percentage. But again, the movement had to be jacked up because they had low ground out percentage. So that's how the HRAs are all equal. Yeah, the game engine is celebrating 420. Okay, so in the 330 league, the team that gave up the most home runs is the Extreme Ground Ball team. And in the 500 league, also the team that gave up the most home runs is the Extreme Ground Ball team. So in both leagues, the Extreme Ground Ball team gave up the most home runs, despite having the same HRA rating as everybody else. They're all 500 versus righties or all 330 versus righties. And there's only right-handed batters in the league. And the ground ball percentages, the ground out percentage do track, right? The ground ball team 47.7%, extreme ground ball 49.1%. Extreme extreme flyball or flyball 42.2%, extreme flyball 39.3%. And the reason there's such a big difference between flyball and groundball is I didn't have the neutral 54%. I mean, I thought this was going to say if the HRAs are the same, it doesn't matter what their ground ball percentage is. But what this is kind of saying is if the HRAs are the same, don't take the extreme ground ball team. Don't take the extreme ground ball pitcher. Well, no, the whole reason I do the 5X season is to eliminate the need to do it again. Like, in theory, we've done this 5 times to get this result. Now, we can't disaggregate the 5 times to see how different they are, but the whole reason we do 8-10 is to eliminate factors that would make it necessary to run it again. And we used to do 10x, but for some reason 10x doesn't give you 10x. But 5x does. 5x actually does run 810 games. And when we've done it again, like for the stealing and speed, half of the league did the same experiment twice, and it was exactly the same. So I wouldn't anticipate any differences. Like, those were freebie questions in the pack giveaway for anyone who had watched the previous sim. They were almost exactly the same results for half of the league. Yeah, this is wild. It's almost saying if you're looking at 2 pictures of the same exact HRA, don't take the ground ball picture. Now, if that is true, one thing that could be happening is because the ground out percentage was so high, I had to take down the movement number. And it could be that however the game is calculating it, like the movement number carries more weight than the ground out rate number. So even though the rating ends up being the same, the raw movement is carrying more weight. And since the extreme ground ball teams have worse raw movement, that might be giving up the home runs. Even though in theory it should be the same because the overall HRA rating is the same. That's the only kind of reason I can think of for that. All right, I'm gonna have to sleep on this because I'm confused. But let's give away some packs while we're here. Okay, in the low HRA league, which team will give up the fewest home runs? The extreme fly ball team, which nobody guessed. Extreme fly ball gave up 1044. In the low HR, let's do this. Extreme fly ball 1044. Okay, in the low HRA, which team gave up the most home runs? Extreme ground ball, which somebody did guess. D-Block guessed it. D-Block gets a solo point. D-Block guessed it. It was extreme ground ball. And it was 1125. And what was the difference? Well, that would be the most minus the least divided by the least. And turn that into a percentage. 7.76%. So Clay Dog gets a solo point there. All right. in in the high HRA league, which team gave up the fewest home runs? With 347, it's the Groundball team, not Extreme Groundball. Groundball team. They gave up 347. Who guessed Groundball? Z Grizzly guessed Groundball. In the high HRA league, which team gave up the most home runs? Again, the Extreme Ground Ball team, which D-Block the Contrarian guessed both of those correctly. Amazing. Amazing. 430 is that one. And what is the percentage difference? Well, it is the high minus the low divided by the low. Okay, I mean, this got to be significant. 23%. Dono, Z Grizzly, and Papa Brave all got that right. The problem is it's significant in the opposite direction. Extreme Flyball or Extreme Ground Ball gave up more home runs in both cases. Now it's borderline in the low home run rating league at 7.8%. But in the high home run rating league, 24%. That's a big difference. All right, let's keep going here. These results are wild. All right, let's shrink. I think we can shrink down all of them. Okay. In the low HRA league, what will be the average number of home runs given up per season, right? So 162 game basis. So 1044 plus 1107 plus 1121 plus 1125 divided by 4 for 4 teams divided by 5 for 5 seasons is 220. 220. So Claydog is 35 away. D-Block is 25 away. So I think it's D-Block. 220. D-Block. D-Block has 3 right now. Wait, where are your guesses? I didn't reset the form. Editing the form doesn't reset it. Did you hit submit? Yeah, you're not showing up here. Oh, no, you know what it is? Editing the text of the form doesn't reset it, but I edited some of the questions. Editing the text at the top doesn't reset, but I bet because I edited the questions, it probably did reset it. But I closed it. No, I closed it before I made those edits, though. And there were no entries at the time when I closed it. Oh, but if you didn't hit refresh, maybe? If you already had it open, that might be why your results got lost. Because they're not even here. Like, I have no control over what shows up here. Whatever's submitted shows up here. And so I closed the form when I realized I had to make edits, and there were no entries in at the time. Okay, next time that's my fault. Next time I have to tell everybody to refresh the form. Because I had closed it, I thought it was going to be okay. But if you had already almost finished it, then yeah. Because I can't even get your answers because they just don't exist according to this. So sorry about that. Alright, so D block does get this one. Okay, in the high HRA league, same question. So that's 340. 347 plus 376 plus 430 plus 377 divided by 4 for 4 teams divided by 5 for 5 seasons. 76.5. Z Grizzly almost right on the money with 80. What a guess. And that ties D block. And it is the more. No, sorry. D block's got. No, D block's got 3. The 80 is the more recent answer, though. So Z Grizzly has the tiebreaker right now. Oh, I typed the 30. Oh, yeah, there we go. So let me undo that. How do I. Can I undo that far back? Yeah, okay. So the 76.5 goes here. And then this is. Oh, wait, so did I miss a number then? I don't think I did. 347 plus 376 plus 430 plus 377 divided by 4 divided by 5. Yeah, 76.5. So I think I might have typed it in there and then I realized that I just didn't see where it went. But I did get the full number in the calculator. Thank you for checking that. I just didn't know where the 347 went. So Clay Dog found it for me. It was up here. Okay. In the low HR league, the most homers allowed by a pitcher. Okay. So I think that we can find in the stats page, right? Pitching leaders. Low HRA first. Home runs allowed. $158 divided by 5. 31.6. So 2 that are 4.4 4.4 off. And then below is too far below. So Zegrisley and Donna are going to each get points here. And the same question for the high HRA league. $72 home runs divided by 5. 14.4. So another one for Z Grizzly. So Z Grizzly dominating there, especially the numerical guesses. Z Grizzly with 5. Papa Brave 1. D Block 3. Dono 2. And Claydog 1. So first place Z Grizzly. And unfortunately, we'll never know what Nerd of Anarchy would have gotten. So yeah, on my end, I apologize. It wasn't enough that I closed the form while I was making the edits. When I reopened it, I guess because I had changed it, you'd have gotten 1 point, Nerd of Anarchy? If that's what you're saying, then I feel less bad. So yeah, Z Grizzly first place, D Block second place. So 7 packs of Z Grizzly, 3 packs to the Dono with another PD pack performance. No. Oh yeah, third place. I thought PD pack was going to last place, but yeah, it was going to go to third place. That's right. All right. Well, I mean, in general, it almost, it's not that it supports my position of like, it actually refutes the other position. Because my position was it doesn't matter. Other people, some people would say same HRA, but I'm going to go with the extreme ground ball or ground ball pitcher. But it's actually the opposite. Don't go with the extreme ground ball, which does not seem to make sense unless it's some sort of coding issue, or I still think what I was saying could possibly make sense. Right? Because when the ground ball percentage is high, Rich said what in an interview? Yeah, the actual ground ball does scale with the ground ball rating. And there's a gap between ground ball and fly ball because the average is not represented here. The average is 54%, and it's not represented here. So it's about a 2 to 3% observed difference for a 6% rating difference, with a gap in the middle because we didn't represent the 54%. And in both leagues, like Extreme Fly Ball, 39.3, 39.8. Extreme Ground Ball, 49.1, 49.4. So it does seem to be tracking. If the amount of outs on ground balls and fly balls were a lot, I think a line drive would still count as a fly out, though. It is weird, though, that the extreme ground ball pitchers in both cases gave up the most home runs. Now, the difference in the low HRA league isn't huge. It's just a 4 home run difference between extreme ground ball and fly ball. And the gap in the entire league was 7 from high to low. But in the high home run suppression, it was 24%. So it is significant. Again, the game is calculating home run suppression. It's like kind of like stuff. Stuff is based on pitch selection, pitch quality, velocity. Right. Home run suppression is based on raw movement, ground ball percentage. And I made the ground ball. Maybe I made the when the ground ball percentage is that high, the raw movement is lower to keep the HRA rating the same. And it almost seems like you get penalized more for the lower raw movement score than you get the benefit from the high ground out percentage. This is where it makes me wonder if I move the fences in, does it then tip the balance in the favor of the higher ground out percentage pitchers? Well, Papa Brave, we did that at the beginning of the season, and everything's just noise because there's no, because every team is the same, so it just becomes RNG. So we did that test sim very early in the cycle after we set up the average league. We just had it play against itself with no changes, and everything is just noise. Like teams will lead in something because someone has to lead in something, but all the percentage differences are like single digit because RNG happens. But again, we do a 5x season, so it minimizes the ability of RNG to make a meaningful difference. This is also wild. The fact that the Extreme Flyball team. Okay, this actually maybe supports where I'm headed with in the high home run suppression league. Because in the low home run suppression league, right, Extreme Flyball has the lowest ground up percentage. So then you have to give it more raw movement to compensate for it. And so the more raw movement in the low HRA league is helping, just like the low raw movement in the high HRA league seemed to hurt the extreme ground ball team. Because the only two big outliers, because the higher number of extreme ground ball home runs is not that much higher, but the drop off to extreme fly ball home runs is the biggest drop off. And in that case, we had to give them more raw movement to get their rating up. And in the high home run league, we had to reduce the raw movement for the extreme ground ball team. So it seems like when there are extremes of like, we have to apply extremes of raw movement to make up for the ground out percentage. That raw movement boost or penalty is outweighing the ground out percentage benefit or penalty. Which, in terms of the coding, could just be a miscalculation of how HRA is calculated from the combination of raw movement and ground out percentage, or it could be that as you get extreme, then there's like a distortion. So to get to a high HRA, like in the 500 league, if you're extreme ground ball, you don't get enough raw movement. So you get penalized for that. And then the lower end, if you're extreme fly ball, you get more raw movement, and so you get a benefit from that. That's the only thing I can think of that would explain these. That there's some sort of distortion that happens towards the extremes as you try to make up for too high or too low of a ground out percentage. Right, for that extreme fly ball team in the lower home run rating, we had to add quite a bit of yeah, we had a 378 raw movement score versus the ground ball team had a 352, then 301, and then 277. I don't know. There's something there, I think, with the raw movement number. And maybe just the balance between that and the ground out percentage. It might be a little bit off. That's the only thing I can think of. All right, let's see. Um, oh, is Ophi not streaming tonight? Oh, okay. Well, that makes the decision easy. We'll go into. Oh, actually, I was gonna raid Chuyi, but we haven't seen ceremony music streaming this late in a while. All right, let me see if she's about to end or not. See if I can tell if she's about to wrap up or not. Okay, we're gonna raid ceremony music. I haven't had a chance to raid into her in a long, long time, so this will be nice. So ceremony music, she plays piano and sings, covers only, but she's very good, and I like the vibe of her stream a lot. So we're gonna raid into ceremony music. All right, thanks for being here, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that experiment. It is a little confusing. I will not be surprised if I have a different conclusion or explanation after thinking about it for a while. But there were a lot of things about it that were kind of counterintuitive. Oh, hold on. Wait a second. She said that's it for today. Is she finishing up? Hold on. I'm just going to ask her. Are you wrapping up? Oh, yeah. She's looking for someone to raid. Okay. So we're going to raid Chugi. I'm glad I caught that in time. All right, Chugi's playing Rose's show with his Wario player, who looks amazing. So we're gonna have fun watching that. All right, tomorrow night I was actually gonna do a roster build, so I think we'll probably still do that because we usually don't get a ton of time on OOTP after talk nights. So that way, if OOTP after talk runs long, which it usually does, and it's worth it because the interviews are awesome. I don't have to worry about getting to bed super late because we're trying to do a sim and then pack giveaway scoring. So we're just gonna do a roster build and a couple of wheel spins tomorrow night. So random wheel spins for packs and then building a roster for a future sim. And then who else? We have Flying W playing Saturday. We've got Nerd of Anarchy, I think, playing Low Ball Friday night. And then we'll be filling in the rest of the schedule soon, I hope.